Hi, I'm Brian Danzis, President, North America at Seedtag.
Hi, I'm Michael Sadicario, Managing Director for North America at Equativ. AI is being used in all sorts of different ways, and I think that the innovations around that in our industry are becoming extensive, and every nook and cranny of the entire industry is being affected. I think at Equativ, at least, we're seeing it through the eyes of both the consumer and, of course, the advertiser. And so, depending on where you sit in that value chain, you may see it as a bit different. I'd say for the buy side, at least that we work with quite extensively, our experience is using AI to ensure that our media planning is as appropriate and targeted as possible, ensuring we're able to target KPIs and performance results that we expect out of our media campaigns, ensuring more security in the campaigns that we run every day. We also look at AI as an innovative way to look at signals and signal tracking. So I think a lot of what we do in the programmatic space now is about the right metadata signals that allow us to do all sorts of things that we might not have otherwise been able to do. Simple stuff like contextual analysis to more deep machine learning around audiences and understanding who we might be wanting to target based on the outcomes we're looking to deliver.
At Seedtag, AI is fundamental to everything that we do. It's not just a buzzword, but proprietary technology that was built in-house that powers everything from audience creation to insights and analysis. We look at the universe around and connect the dots around key themes, but also decisioning. Now, what ad to serve at the right time, in the right placement to drive the best action. We're also starting to leverage AI in our creative. So using generative AI to optimize the actual placement and create the right tone and color and thematic nature to that message so it wraps into the context of the page itself. And we think that's not only going to create a better experience for the user, but ultimately drive better monetization for the publisher as well. Yeah, so this is CES, so it's all about innovation, of course. I guess I would challenge the industry to think about new technologies and new capabilities through a unique lens, not looking at how you did things in the past and trying to connect the dots that way. New technologies usually require different approaches, different types of metrics, and they don't fit into the containers of the past. So when it comes to things like generative AI, we at Seedtag ensure that we have humans monitoring what we do and have very close oversight over the creative process. But again, agencies shouldn't fear to test and learn and experiment and ultimately progress. So I'd ask our friends in the industry to, take risk, enjoy the ride, and look for new ways to get better.
I totally agree, obviously, with everything you're saying. I think, again, thinking of it in the prism of there's the buyer, there's the sort of agency buyer, the brand who wants to connect with the consumer and the other side of it, right? I think we, as an industry, need to challenge ourselves in the middle, I'd say, to figure out what is actually AI, what is actually advanced machine learning and other things that are going to take us to that next, horizon where everything is so much better, it's so much targeted and has better outcomes on behalf of the consumer, protecting them along the way to ensure that, their data is theirs and that they can have some control over that. And some of the best, I think, in the industry need to be both transparent and honest about what's true and what is really utilizing generative AI, which is so exciting, and what is just people in the background. It's okay if some of your solution is a person, is a service. That's way more than half of what the industry is doing right now is just people behind the machine. So we can be honest about that so we can progress where it truly is being pushed into the forefront. But also, on the other hand, like for our consumer base, we really need to be honest about where consumers sit in all this and be good brokers on their behalf to ensure that they own their data, to ensure that they can control who uses their data and for what purpose. And if the purpose is a better outcome for them, meaning a more targeted ad that they actually are interested in, or maybe gives them some other benefit that they wouldn't otherwise have known about, then we're all going to win in that scenario because they're going to engage more in the ads that we deliver. All that creative generation and differentiation is going to fit to their suitability a bit better. So everyone's going to win in that scenario. And so we should be pushing ourselves, again, be more honest, but also start to push more for better outcomes for our customers, not just for ourselves. I think most of our adaptation to a new world where we're able to address a specific audience, knowing more about them, having more details and more signals again to attach to any individual buying apparatus is going to help us deliver and drive more results. I mean, that's just like, I think it's really pretty simple actually. It's not a complex answer, but it is addressability is all about addressing exactly what you want, the exact outcome you're looking for, and being able to target towards that. So creative personalization, audience targeting, serving again the right ad at the right place at the right time with the right message. Like, we've all said those things before. We've all tried to go down that path, but it's been very complex and convoluted and not necessarily worth the squeeze there. I think hopefully that next level up will be, serving that.
I think the folly of addressability really is we've placed people into buckets, very generic buckets: age, gender, socioeconomic status, and we've gotten so hyper obsessed with who that individual is or who we think they are. We usually get it wrong, number one. But number two, we don't think too much about, or not enough about, what people care about and what their interests are, what their passions are. And you see RFPs come across from brands all the time, signaling their ethos and their consciousness and what they care about. By just targeting someone based on their age and gender, you lose that. You lose that connection. So, we think about addressability not just about, again, basic metrics like age, gender, socioeconomic status, and more about what are the interests that these people have and targeting based upon that. Because I think ultimately you'll make a deeper connection to those passions.
It's about stacking all the known quantities. If you're just saying, I know who this person is based on their demo or whatever, or if you're just saying, I know the contextual environment that they're in, or you're just saying that I know what channel they're on or whatever, it's just not enough. You need to stack all of it together and then also associate the right creative, the right timing as well. People don't, I think, I come from traditional background. Traditional media, we would talk about day parting and all sorts of other time-based scenarios. In digital advertising, I think we've forgotten all of that.
Sure.
We just kind of say, well, it's the right person.
Right.
Based on what? Based on their behavior? I always like to think of this like, my favorite example in all this space is planning a party. You spend a whole week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks leading up to your New Year's Eve party. You're getting all this stuff. You're looking up what to cook. You're looking up what to buy. You're looking up all this. Perfect time for a party city or somebody to be targeting you with a message. Based on that behavior, the day after New Year's, you're still someone they should target. Whereas you just had the party. What's the point anymore?
Sure.
And I think we just haven't been able to overcome that yet. And I don't see anybody doing a really great job of that. Retargeting fails us. So I'm excited for the cookies to go away, because let's get rid of a lot of the retargeting that fails constantly over and over again. Let's make it more, to your point, exactly who that person is, or at least as much information as we could possibly know about them. Then we serve the ad.
We used to say right person, right time. We forgot about the right time. We're obsessed about the person.
For sure.
Right? I may be in the market for a car, but when I'm in the doctor's office with my sick kid on the phone looking up symptoms, I don't care about the car.
Right.
So, the timing is really everything.
Well, in an effort to drive scale, we've sort of said, let's prioritize just getting the buy done. Right. Let's spend the money. Like, that's not the right way to do advertising. It's not about just getting the spend out there. It's about making sure that it's the right place for the right person so that it can deliver the right message. Otherwise, what are we doing this for?
I don't know if 2024 is going to be the time we all come together on anything, but we're certainly making progress. And at Seedtag, we are looking to reduce our indirect emissions wherever we can, and that includes employee travel, as well as creating more efficiencies in how we deliver ads. I've read that one ad served creates 1 gram of carbon. And if we see 10,000 ads a day, 1 million impressions is essentially a metric ton of carbon. So we are working with partners like Scope 3 to identify where there are inefficiencies in our system and look to ways to optimize out of it. So we are absolutely committed to it. We know our partners are as well. And we're going to do our part to be better corporate citizens.
I totally agree. I don't really have much to add on that topic, actually. I think that you said it very well. We're doing very similar things. I think everybody in the industry is trying to be better citizens of the world. We all have, ESG at the forefront and DE&I at the forefront, and, all these great, wonderful, purpose-led missions that go beyond just advertising and what we're all here for, to help provide a better ecosystem for advertising and for consumers. If we're all doing our part, that's great. I think some of this, though, in terms of the demand for it, might be overblown. I think everybody wants to do better. I don't think anybody's out here at CES saying we want to, emit more negative energy into the world in any way. We don't like helping people, or nobody's saying that. Everybody has good intentions. How do we get there? How do we really hold each other accountable? What is this going to be long-term as a solution for us? So sure, we can be better at being more efficient. Yes, we can cut down on corporate traffic. Yes, we can maybe not all go to Cannes this year and have like amazing displays of fireworks.
But let's not go too far.
Yeah. The drones now, it's pretty cool. But even that, like the electricity to light up those drones probably had some impact that no one seemed to care about because they're drones, not fireworks. This is the point. That's like exactly a good example of this where, we're saying no to one thing to say yes to another because we think it's better, but there's no one really holding all of us accountable yet. So if in 2024 or 2025 or whenever it comes, there is a body that's actually going to have legitimate metrics against all of this and really put a business case together, I think that's something I'm excited about and would look forward to. But it seems to me a lot of it is just early stage at this point. I hope that we get beyond this. I think that the last topic we just spoke about, which was around sustainability, is probably the area where I see the most innovation and I'm excited about and want to see more innovation, and that would be wonderful. Where I really see the most time spent in innovation is probably around your screen, like optimizing for your screen experience, wherever that screen may be, whether it's in your living room, on your highway or wherever. Like, I think optimizing towards a more personalized screen engagement with the consumer is something advertisers are looking for. That's where the majority of money is. The streaming wars is probably the biggest topic that's going to change, I think, our industry. It's the billions of dollars as opposed to the millions, and I think that's fascinating. I also think retail media is still, obviously exploding, and that's also, I think, about screens, frankly, because what are you looking at when you're in those places, or where it is all optimizing for your personalized experience. And so I think that's where the biggest shifts of money are happening right now. Traditional media moving more to digital media being more expansive and omni-channel across everything you're doing, and customized to who you are and what we know about you. It's a lot, but that's kind of what I'm hearing around the show this week.
Yeah, and I think we're on the verge of having a national conversation around privacy. What started with state legislation, I think there's half a dozen states with laws in the books now protecting the consumer, and another dozen with pending legislation. Headed into the national elections this year, I think it is a huge conversation that needs to be had. Consumers are empowered. They know about cookie deprecation. It's in the mainstream media. They're deploying their own tools to protect their privacy. Apple's private relay, or VPNs, or other types of ad blockers, right? The consumer knows that they've been taken advantage of for many years. And we as an industry really do need to act before, they make it even more difficult to find them. So we do think that this year will be one in which privacy becomes a much larger national conversation, and frankly, we're looking forward to it.
I tend to think that the conversation around this is more inside baseball. We are very well aware of it. We are reading about it all the time. If I ask my parents or my children to tell me what a cookie is, it's the cookie you eat, right? And so they still don't understand, and those are not because they're not well educated. Sorry, family, but
my kids know that the phone is listening to them.
Right, but they have they definitely understand privacy as a topic. I think cookie deprecation is like a very, inside our industry sort of thing. And, I when you listen to leaders in Congress speak to technical topics like what we have, it's an embarrassment, frankly, on how little they know. There's maybe 5 that know what they're talking about, and those get the press, and the rest are like immature and are rather focused on other topics, some of which are very important to us. And frankly, I think this is probably in this calendar year with a presidential election, privacy is not on the ballot, right? Other things are: inflation, wars, lots of other immigration, lots of other topics that are way more impactful, I think, or supposedly impactful to a consumer's life or an individual's life, a voter's life. I think we have another year until privacy becomes a bigger topic. If Google decides to go full on and deprecate, great, and then we move on, and then maybe it's next year's topic. I think this year it'll be a conversation inside baseball still, and then it'll move outside maybe the following year. presidential cycle is not going to allow for a privacy conversation that's legitimate. Yeah, we'll see.
Maybe because the candidates don't want to give up the data they're used to go win over their prospective
Or
voters.
maybe because they're both 80 plus years old and
They don't understand
what
what
they're talking about. Yeah, I mean,
So that was happening.
but not to be ageist at all. Like I think that I don't care what age you are, frankly. To be president, you should have experience. Not to get political here, but I don't think they nor the people that surround them think about this topic in particular and how it's affecting them, because voters aren't telling them that it's something they care about as much. Maybe spying. They don't want people spying on them, listening to them through their devices. But how many people still, to this day, will buy a product from one of the major companies and press accept to all the T's and C's without reading a single word? It's basically, if I had to guess, 99% of the general public. If that's the case, then don't tell me anybody cares about privacy at this
point.